Does the senior living market shift? Now we know that the real estate markets shift from buyer's markets to seller markets and back again, but do senior living community markets shift too? I'm Nikki Buckley at the Seniors Real Estate Institute, and let's talk about that a little bit. The answer is yes. Senior living has shifts just like residential real estate, but we aren't quite as up to date on how those shifts are going to affect people because, well, frankly, the senior living world hasn't been around that long. In fact, assisted livings didn't even come along until 1981. So you can see that we've got a lot to learn about the senior living industry. Here's what we do know. I have 3 points for you. One, some markets are definitely saturated. They have overbuilt for the area, which means that investors have decidedly gone all in on senior living. The number 2 thing is that the pandemic has changed everything. So we know that costs increased, there are staffing shortages, and these plague many communities, and so occupancy levels are low. And that's the 3rd thing. The occupancy rates in many markets are low. Corporate investors, that's what they're looking for, is when occupancy levels are low, they go in and buy. And when occupancy levels are high, like they have been, then most of the time they're gonna stay consistent with the same ownership and management groups. That's not a word. So the senior living industry shifts just like every other housing industry. There are highs and lows that hinge on occupancy levels. So what are good occupancy levels? Now, I am not an expert in the senior living space, so I'm going to tell you what I've been told. That occupancy at 80% or better is really good in the senior living world. Anything under 80% is not so good, and when it gets down under 70%, they really start to worry. So that's when these investors are able to come in and possibly buy a community, make some improvements ideally, and then improve upon that community's circumstances. So that's happening. Well, how does that affect you as a CSHP or somebody an expert in the senior living or senior housing space? Well, first of all, it depends. If you're not worried about senior living communities as part of your business model, and that's not something that you're focused on, then this is probably not going to affect you a lot. But if you're somebody who calls on senior communities and you have partnerships where you refer back and forth, it's going to be important to kind of stay in touch and know what's going on, both for the relationship with the community and the relationship with that marketing person. You know, they don't need you as much when things are really good, but when things are not really good, that's when they could really use you and what you have to offer most. And then I would say, gosh, if you're a certified senior downsizing coach, you really need to be at the top of your game. You need to understand what's going on in your market. You need to be consulting with people who are in the know. And here's why. Consumers are going to look to you for guidance. And while you can't tell them where to go or where not to go if they're thinking about making a move, you've got to be able to at least equip them and arm them with great questions to ask so that they make informed decisions. And as a certified senior downsizing coach, that is part of your job description. So if you need help with that, or if you have questions about the shifting senior living market, let us know here at SRAI, and we're going to be covering that over the next several months. As things begin to change in the real estate market, don't forget to pay attention to what's happening in the senior living world as well. Until next time, I'm Nikki Buckaloo. We'll see you on the next video.